Dragon's Path or Draconic Wicca in itself is actually very easy to be described. It's actually very easy to say. The Dragon's Path or following the dragon is actually left-hand spirituality, which means that you don't listen to priests or to you. It's actually not a religion. That it basically wants to say that. It's a left-hand spirituality. It's not a religion. You don't come together, you don't pray together, you don't have like special instructions that everyone needs to follow. That is left-hand spirituality. That is 100% the Dragon's Path. It may call Draconic Wicca back in the day in the 90s, but in fact it's not Wicca, because Wicca is religion, and we are not a religion. We are a spirituality, and it's for everyone different. For every participator from the Dragon's Path is actually very individual. So everything that happens is also very individual, but we are all still connected with the dragon. Draconic Wicca, or the Path of the Dragon, is also a grey spirituality, which means that we don't take sides, not between light, not between dark. We are just taking everything at the moment that we need it. So that is typically the dragon. We are constantly following the shadow of the dragon, but also following our own shadow with this. So we are following whatever fits us at that moment. That is so 100% the dragon, that the dragon just takes whatever that moment fits them. Light, dark, they are all one together with them. It's really a path of balance of every energy. Light, like left, right, like dark and light, like male and female. We are all taking it like in balance. It's also a path that I can call the path of the unlikely witch, because it makes us witches. Witches makes us also use dragon energy, dragon magic, and manipulation. So we are unlikely witches because we don't belong in covens. We don't come together and all pray together and like worship one particular god, because we have actually many gods. And that is also the reason why they also mistaken us for like this Wicca. But we have different kind of gods. For example, my god closest by is Tiamat, and Tiamat is actually very much demonized in this time and age. Tiamat, but also Leviathan and Fafnir and Quetzalcoatl and Shenlong and Tialong and Imogi, and oh my goddess, there are so many dragon gods, but Tiamat is my closest one, followed by Leviathan. So that is also why we are called unlikely witches, because we have different kind of gods and all different kind of spirits actually that we also recognize. That doesn't mean, for example, whenever I go to the forest, I always have my Book of Dragon Shadows with me. It's a book that I wrote myself in, and with clear instructions for my own. So I cannot give my book to you. I even said to myself not to show it, because it might lead you in the wrong direction. Because this book that I have has clear also guidelines, but also not only guidelines, but also commands. I do have commands. I do have to listen to the book, to this book that I wrote. But that is what I said. I wrote it myself. It's not like someone else wrote my instructions. So I wrote my own instructions in this book, and I have to follow it. I have to follow everything. So everything about feelings and dreams and visions and everything, experiences and feelings and everything, and also what happens with the dragon. I was invited on a radio station to explain about the Dragon's Path years ago. Of course, years ago I know much more now, but years ago I was invited by it, and I said to her, for example, that the Dragon's Path is actually like, to make them understand, I am actually much like this Jesus, and this Jesus for my own. Every participant of the Dragon's Path is their own Jesus, their own Messiah, because they don't have to look up to a man in the sky. They are the ones that have the experiences. They are the ones that can write their own Draconic Bible. They can write it all for themselves. It's not that they have to be a Messiah for someone else. No, they can be their own Messiah. and they can write their own instructions. For example, that it's the first thing in my book of Dragon Shadows is that my dragon taught me to have sympathy, to have empathy, to have there's all these feelings that you can have for someone else, something else. I mean, I can in my book of Dragon Shadows, I said that if the dragon returned, the dragon would be seen as an animal. So I cannot eat or hunt or kill animals. I even have to speak up about for them. It's like I speak up for dragons. So in my book of Dragon Shadows, it says that I have to stand up for the innocent. For example, it's actually on the dragon. Actually, every instruction that I have on the dragon's path is actually an act of kindness and an act of love and an act of being a guardian and a protector. So that is actually what my book of Dragon Shadows says. Also with images and pictures that I draw myself from Tiamat and all of the experiences that I had. So I do have instructions of my own Draconic Bible, and that is something that you can have as well. We can all have our own Draconic Bibles, and that is why that is also annoying, of course, that I have to say this in this radio station, so to make them understand what kind of a thing the Dragon's Path is. It's a path of freedom, a path of being yourself, not a path of a coven or that you come together and have to listen to a guy. No, that you just do your own path. And even when we are coming together, we are still individuals. We can still argue with each other because we all have a different Draconic Bible. We all have different kind of instructions from the dragon. It depends on who your dragon is and where he wants to lead you. As also depends on, for example, who your dragon god is, your dragon goddess. It can be every single one. For example, that even in my book of Dragon Shadows, it says that you can even have connection with. Oh God, that's beautiful. In my book of Dragon Shadows, it even says, for example, that how to have a sexual intercourse with each other, and also, for example, that how to connect with animals, but also how to connect with humans. For example, in my book of Dragon Shadows, my dragon actually said, and I wrote it down, that I had dark feelings to humans for the idea what they can do with my dragon. And my dragon said, give them time, they still need to evolve. Things like this stands in my Draconic Bible. I'm sorry to say that it's like some kind of a Bible, and I cannot give it to you. For example, that is the reason why it's so different from religion and what we are. Inside of a religion, you can share the same kind of Bible, and everyone has their own interpretation of the same kind of words. Whenever the Bible was translated in English, the translator was being killed because inside of the Bible it says, and everyone can read it, how evil the Christian God is, how disgusting the Christian God is, and the Islamic God or whatever, the Abrahamic God in general. But in my book of Dragon Shadows, it actually says that my dragon is a being of empathy and kindness and feeling, but also a being of being one with darkness, being one with yourself, being one, and to understand everything. So that is what my Draconic Bible says, and everyone can read it, but I doubt that you will have anything with that, because you have your own Draconic Bible, and that is why I recommend so much that you create your own Book of Dragon Shadows. I still need this, for example, because sometimes I forgot how to do this kind of rituals. For example, I just read from my Book of Dragon Shadows, for example, how to give energy to your dragon. For example, in my Book of Dragon Shadows, it says, inhale and exhale, and with the energy of the dragon within, and exhale with the mind, within your mind, that you have the dragon in front of you. For example, that you give energy from your breath to theirs. Let it become dragon's breath. So let them be alive. Things like this. These are the instructions in my Draconic Bible, but also how to be more like a dragon witch. And that is basically it. My Draconic Bible teaches me how to be a Draconic witch, a dragon witch. And that is what it all should learn us, teach us. That is the reason why we are not obliged to do anything. These are guidelines. Inside of the Bible, it's like the evil God, the Christian God, or the Islamic God, or whatever, is actually saying, you have to, and you shall, and or else, and I will kill, and that is not the dragon. That is not the dragon. The dragon is actually there to be with you, only you, and the instructions are being made to be closer with them, so that you can go and to be with your dragon's light, so that you can evolve eventually. So, my brothers and sisters,